The president has never shown much respect for Robert Mueller's investigation.
It's a witch hunt.
It's a witch hunt. That's all it is.
This is a witch hunt, and it's a disgrace. It's a rigged witch hunt. It's a totally rigged deal. Fake news and the Russian witch hunt. We got a whole big combination.
I will tell you, I love this country.
And now that it's all over, he says he was right all along.
There was no collusion with Russia, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction, and none whatsoever.
Mueller was appointed in early 2017 to oversee an investigation into whether the president or members of his campaign colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 presidential election. 22 months later, the special counsel found there had been attempts to interfere with the vote through social media disinformation and computer hacking. But the special counsel did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in these efforts, despite multiple offers from Russian-affiliated individuals. But not everyone sees it that way.
President Trump is wrong. This report does not amount to a so-called total exoneration. Special Counsel Mueller was clear that his report, quote, does not exonerate, close quote, the president.
That's because after nearly 2 years, 500 witnesses and almost 3,000 subpoenas, Mueller couldn't categorically say whether or not the president obstructed the investigation. Mueller deferred that finding to the Attorney General, William Barr, who concluded that the evidence is not sufficient to establish that the president committed an obstruction of justice offence.
The Attorney General followed the legal process. He worked with the Deputy Attorney General, who's been involved since the very beginning of this 2-year absurdity, and they made a decision that there was no obstruction. So that makes it a complete and total exoneration. I don't know any other way to look at it.
The concern among some Democrats is that President Trump appointed Barr to the Attorney General's role in December, just months after the lawyer wrote an unsolicited memo criticising Mueller's investigation.
Bob Mueller spent 2 years looking at all the evidence, and he was unable to make a determination of whether the president obstructed justice or not. The Attorney General spent 2 days and made that determination. That wasn't fair. This needs to be looked at by the American people, by the committees.
Today, people are rereading that memo and saying, wait a second, there's a lot of opaque and sly language in this memo. Let's really look and see what's behind it. I don't want to read the Cliff Notes version of Macbeth. I want to read Macbeth myself.
After all the toil and trouble, Capitol Hill's cauldron still bubbles with questions. Melinda Nusafora, The Newsmakers.